Hey guys, I've done a video on this before, but I thought of a really elegant way of explaining sort of the stark differences between borderline and narcissistic personality disorder, and I also think this is the best way to explain each one unto themselves too. And if you're new to this topic, these are personality disorders, so the way that we'll colloquially use the word narcissist doesn't really apply here, and you'll see why. So, narcissistic personality disorder, the way that I would explain this is the narcissist is unable to trust their own perceptions of their perceptions of themselves and of the world. So what they do is they surround themselves with anybody and everybody that they can get to, fill their head with, these positive notions about themselves, just anything that will, provide a worldview for them, and they'll do anything, you, you know, it's not like they'll murder people, but they'll go pretty far to do, you know, anything to win the favor of these people. Um, and perhaps and influence them into a state where they are going to give them positive responses. And when a person, the thing though is that this is always temporary, because there's nothing stable about basing, things that should be your own perceptions in other people. So eventually it'll falter, and either their perceptions of you will change, or it'll just stop serving that need, and then you cut these people out of your life, and you don't think twice about it, because you were never building, it was never anything other than that, so it's not as though you're leaving a relationship with someone that you loved and cared about. It was always for this. Okay. Borderlines have um, borderlines, their perceptions are skewed and are I mean, they just have very, messed up perceptions, and they completely trust them, and will use them to justify any type of behavior they can to serve, their needs. Yeah, so that's sort of the way that I at least see the two of them. And so, just to recap and kind of demonstrate the differences here, because you can see both of them end up, doing self-serving behavior and being dishonest, and, but it's a completely different thing. It's entirely different. Because in the case of the narcissist, they do not have, they bury their emotions and their feelings. They're not comfortable accepting their perceptions of the world. which could very well be totally, socially acceptable perceptions, etc. It has nothing to do with what they are. But they're unable to, they're uncomfortable with, being a full person in that way and accepting that part of themselves, so they act in these ways, winning favor, gaining favor of people, and then, never having built any emotional connection with them, are able to then act in ways that are very hurtful. I mean, and it just goes that way. In the narcissist case, in the borderlines case, they're very hurt and they're very distrustful, and they're, they just have an immense need for love, and, you know are lacking, these, yeah, just that need for this, like, emotional security, and someone to make them feel safe again. And yeah, can justify just about any behavior in order to get that, you know emotional void. Um, Whereas in the narcissist case, it's more of a mental void. Uh, so yeah, but both of them have to do with mental stuff and emotional stuff. But I think that's the best way to explain the two. The borderline one is still a little foggy. I'm not a borderline, so it's hard for me to totally say that in a, short and succinct way. But yeah.